Rubbish! This is now a very handy rain hat. All you need is one knife. And a little bit of cut. 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 And then two little cuts down the side. We have got it all in place. A rain hat. Now, off to look for more garbage. But look, on the street, another piece of garbage. Look what we have here. A little bit grubby, but we can always just drop it in there. Any old umbrella will do. There we go. The perfect rain hat. Garbage, 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 garbage. And why don't you believe me?
You just got to align your hands in them. Yeah. And no matter what you might think,
another thing you can do is put these aside.
so you have to align them. It's a big spot before you push your
I'm
hands.
not saying you like the See, once you aim to the
You have to align your hands in them because well, kind of these are perfect anyway, so I mean, they just go on easily. But you want, I mean,
Yeah,
like
let's
if
put
I
them
put
together.
my hand in halfway, and then try to push it around.
I cannot!
You must will it, you must! You're not fighting! Use your imagination! Bury yourself in yourself. Escape, run, fly, sweep away obstacles. You are almost there. You are there.
Written backwards. Orpheus, beware. You have gone too far. You will pay for this. Beware of mirrors.
Well,
I don't know, it's up to you.
well, I think you can, because what you can do, I mean, basically, you see it and you don't know what it says. You say
I
get into
know
the
what
letter
Dennis
and
doing.
you know, but you don't know what is in this letter because this isn't necessarily from death, it's from the mob. Okay, so because you know, anonymous letter, you know. So Orpheus, beware! You have gone too far. You will pay for this. Beware of mirrors. You know, get rid of the letter. You know, forget about this.
All right.
You know what I mean?
All
So
right.
you don't expect it.
Right. Oh,
Okay.
I thought I'd know it was from
No.
death straight away. All right. Okay. Beware of mirrors.
I don't need to be told.
I mean of reflections.
That's quite a clean one. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Is that all right up there?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Let's go on to page 24. It's your re-entry into the underworld.
Right, well, I'm Regina Crowley, and at the moment I've just directed a production of Orpheus, which is currently showing in the Granary in Cork. The inspiration for the production comes a bit from the myth, but mostly from Cocteau's movie, Cocteau 1950s Orphée, where he kind of he used the Orpheus myth to examine the whole nature of being a poet, and not alone in the film version, not alone does he go into the underworld to find Eurydice. What he's really doing going into the underworld is to find Death, who he's fallen in love with. So in many ways it's about the love of himself. He's become a bit stale, and in going into the underworld he's kind of challenged to refine his art and be more focused. And we've changed it to make Orpheus an actor and to explore the nature of theatre. Because in a way the underworld, the whole idea of the underworld sits very nicely on theatre anyway, because what are they? Big dark boxes which people come into and they sit and create these different landscapes. So in many ways I think even the idea of making Orpheus an actor sits even happier on the story than being a poet. And you know, initially we had hoped, I mean, but with budget constraints, we're exploring the space a little bit. I mean, it would be nice to have done further work, but even that the back space of the theatre, which the audience usually don't see and where everything is assembled, is where the underworld is located. So it's a space that the audience usually don't see, and that this is this other world. And I suppose with the whole, it's like as the play starts off, it seems quite realistic initially. There's a few scenes of Orpheus, who's now a famous actor and doing very well, but becoming a bit stale because he's just riding on fame. But soon enough, like a few minutes into the play, there's an accidental murder, and everything in a way goes into a dreamscape after that. So it's not a realistic presentation, but I mean, why bother doing realism in theatre anyway? Because you know, we're obviously not, especially nowadays. I mean, I think people are very conscious of the fact, and it's a curious art form, as in you have so many people in front of you in flesh and blood making the things. So I think to exploit that whole thing, and I much prefer putting dreamscapes on the stage anyway. I think they sit much better than doing realism. Is a bit, you know, boring in a sense. You know, you can go to the cafe and just look around you and see that drama world. A wonderful thing in the film was the use of mirrors, and the whole idea of mirrors being the doors into the underworld, which again, I mean, I suppose it's an amazing thing when people look in a mirror and you see yourself, but you don't see yourself. And there's a wonderful line in the film where if you look for a lifetime in a mirror and you'll see death at work. And that whole idea of you staying this, you know, you just, if you did stay still, and the whole thing of something degenerating, but you still being the same person to some extent. So in many ways, the whole idea of identity again, I mean, I was just looking at it myself tonight, the play, and now that it's on, I can kind of stand outside it and see things that I like or I don't like, but I love the line in it, which we composed as he's asked in the underworld, you know, to define what an actor is, and he defines it as every man and no man, and for some reason, it's just a bit of poetry, I think it's, oh, that's really nice.
Here is the legend of Orpheus. He braved the underworld, the chasm of the unknown, to retrieve his beloved.
Surface. Playing Hamlet will require you to dig deep.
What is it, my love?
It's nothing. Just another one of those nightmares.
Don't you feel well?
I'm just being silly.
I'll make you feel better.
To be or not to be? That is the question. To be or not to be? That is the question.
I'm sorry I'm late. It couldn't be helped.
We're opening tomorrow, Orpheus.
I know my lines, it'll be no problem. And how is Ophelia?
I'm tired of waiting for you, Orpheus.
Oh, don't give out to me. I had to battle through autograph hunters to get here. It's part of my job. What can I do? You forgive me, don't you?
Why rehearsal? Our movie star is assured applause. It's his show, after all. Fuck the rest of us.
Now, Tara, what's the matter? You know, you wouldn't be such a crank if you had a man in your life. All right, then. Let's rehearse.
For Christ's sake, don't be ridiculous.
Now, Mother, what's the matter?
Or would you fuck off?
Now, Mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, thou hast my father much offended.
Come, come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why? How now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgot me?
No, by the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife, and, would it were not so, you are my mother.
Do. Thou wilt not murder me.
They shouldn't have been actual bullets. This should be loaded with blanks.
You are responsible. Are you awake?
I'm not sure. Where am I?
You're here.
Where is here?
I call it the Chamber of Echoes.
What about the young man? What was his name?
Peter?
Shouldn't we bring him to hospital? Is he alive? I didn't know that gun was loaded.
So you've already said.
What do you mean by that? Look, you can't speak to me like this. Do you know who I am?
But of course, you are the legendary Orpheus. You charm the masses.
You are exhausted. Let me take you home. Your wife must be worried.
Don't ask anything. I have no answers. I'll explain later. Look, I'm not sure myself what happened. I'm not sure about anything at the moment. Okay, I can't talk now. I have to rest.
But Orpheus! I wanted you home so I could tell you the wonderful news.
I don't want any news, especially wonderful news. I want to rest. Now please leave me alone. I warn you.
Excuse me. Are you all right?
I'm fine, thank you.
My dear, I'm not suggesting anything, but surely you, of all people, must realize we must find out what happened somehow.
I'm sure everything will be explained. You set up the doctor's appointment and I will make sure Orpheus attends. He has nothing to hide.
in a white blanket. Oh my God, you're a DJ. You look like death.
So cold.
I can't help you. You need someone to breathe life back into you. I'll find Orpheus.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
I'm glad I found you. You must come home now. I'm very worried about your DJ. She needs to get to a hospital immediately.
Yes, I'll be there shortly.
But first, Michael, you must tell me.
That woman, was she real? I keep hearing voices. Tell me, are they in my head?
Have you orders?
What?
Do you have orders?
When I obey orders, I expect mine to be obeyed.
That's why I ask.
You dare.
The mirror would not be broken if you had orders. What if I do?
You are not free to love.
Nor you. You are no exception.
What do you mean? I order you to be silent.
You love Orpheus, so you are lost.
Eurydice, look at me.
Is it far? Such questions have no meaning here. Maybe.
There is no maybe here.